Hi everyone, it's Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat. I'm going to do a little video. I'm actually filming this a couple of weeks earlier than I'll be posting it because it is design team work that I'm doing for creative knockouts. I'm going to do a card using this digital image that I've been gifted, and the image is from LeeAnn's World. I think it's LeeAnn's World 101, something along those lines. It'll all be in the blog post at the time, and linked up and stuff. So it's really cute. It's called Rudy, but it's clearly a little reindeer Rudolph image. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to stick the camera on whilst I'm crafting. See where we get to. No actual plan, apart from the rule of the challenge is anything but a square. So I must keep that in mind because we know what I'm like. I sort of get distracted and get all inspired, do a particular thing and then go, oh, I was meant to do so-and-so. What an idiot. So we'll see where we get to because I am very much a square and rectangle card girl. So this will be interesting. In fact, I'm already thinking, what's my largest die that's not a square? Is this too big an image? Well, we'll see. We'll see. Right, I'm going to turn you around and you can see what I do. Okay. Okay, so first decision is, how am I going to colour it? The last few challenges I've done for them have been all watercolour-y. So I'm thinking maybe I'll stick to alcohol markers. Now, I would normally be using the Stampin' Blends, but I don't actually have any browns in Stampin' Blends, so probably going to stick with pro markers today. So I am literally just grabbing out various different browns. I have a really big box. Can you see how deep that box is? Absolutely full of pro markers. So I'm just going to grab some brownie colours. Do you know what? Might have to go a bit deeper. Some of these are brush markers, some of these are pro markers, and we're just going to start with the browns. Now, as you can see, I've printed it 4 times, which means that if we make a mistake, won't matter, move to the next one. I am absolutely not a colouring expert in any shape or form, and what I'm just choosing to do is start with my lightest colour and just go from there really and see how I feel. I have no idea how good my printer ink is at dealing with pro markers and brush markers and alcohol inks, so this could be interesting. It could well be a disaster and we immediately move to a different colouring medium, but it seems so far to be okay. Probably not going to have you listen to my waffle for the entire video, you'll be pleased to hear. I will probably stick you into fast forward for most of it. I'm going to go a bit off piste and just do the darkest colour on his antlers. Yeah, so I think because when I'm colouring I do try to concentrate, and that means not using my head. Using my head, that doesn't make any sense. Not using my mouth to talk. I've also realised that my eyes are feeling a little bit tired this morning. I think I need to put my glasses on, so I'm going to pause you, and when you come back, not that you'll be able to see, I'll have my glasses on, I'll be able to see what I'm doing properly, and I'll also have popped you into fast forward. I made the crucial error of forgetting that Rudolph has a red nose. And so I gave him a brown nose. But then when I went over it with the red, in fact, I think I might just do another coat of the red just to be sure that he's got a red tone to it. Might end up adding stickles or something brighter red onto him. But, yeah, I forgot and then went, oh, what have I done that for? I wasn't entirely sure what to do with his eyes, but I think I've got it right. And I think that that's meant to be the black part. So I've actually done a very dark grey and then a little bit of black just to give a little bit more texture. Again, I am not a colourist in any way, shape or form. But I think I'm quite happy with that. I'm thinking that I just want to add a little bit more here. I mean, I know it's not going to really make a massive difference, but it just adds a little bit more depth to the bottom of his reindeer's antlers. Now, I think I'm going to fuss him, cut him out, and then we're going to determine what we're going to do with the rest of it. So I will again pop you back into fast forward so you can watch me fussy cut it out. I am probably going to use my paper snips. I will chop him out roughly like so. And then what I always do when I've got digital images, when I remember, is I put the name of the design organisation, you know, who you've got it from. What's the word? The shop. That's probably the best way to say design organisation. Oh, sorry, hit the desk there. Name of the image, where I remember it, and what paper I have printed it out on. And in this case, it's basic white Stampin' Up. So that means I can then pop it in my folder, pop it away, and next time I come to it, I know what the image is, where's it from, and what kind of paper it is, so I don't try and do the wrong kind of colouring medium. So for example, this isn't a great cardstock for watercolouring on. It just sinks straight in, the water sinks straight in and it pills. So I need to make sure that I am aware of what I've printed it on. Okay, so I'll see you in a moment and I'll be fussy cutting. Okay, so fussy cut him out, got rid of all of my rubbish, and had a little think about what we're going to do, and had a little hunt through the die cutting stuff. So I think my largest die is probably this circle, and he just about fits in the circle. So that means I could create a circle card using this die. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try and do that first. I think we're going to stick with a white card blank because I think that'll be the easiest. But yeah, so let me see what I can construct from that. Bear with. Okay, having said I'd go for white, I've actually ended up with Calypso Coral because I'm thinking what I might do is die cut this white here and then have that as the base still, because I think that the Calypso Coral will pick up all of the nice warm tones. So I've got a piece of Calypso Coral that I have literally folded in half like so. I don't really care what length it is as long as it's big enough to fit this die in, and it's big enough to fit the die in across to the side so that it just hangs off the edge here. So you can see there's a tiny little, if I just zoom in a bit, you'll be able to see there's a tiny little gap here, and that means that that's where the fold is, so the fold will stay in place. So I'm going to just grab a little bit of tape because I want it to stick in place, and then I'll go whiz it through my big shot and I'll be back with you in a minute. So that has cut nicely, I think. So we now have, admittedly it sort of rocks from side to side, so we might have to think about maybe just taking a little bit off the bottom on the back in order for it to stay up. So let's just, oh, maybe not that one, maybe the other trimmer. Now I think it's going to have to be wanting just slightly pulling the cardstock. I don't have the best blades in. Actually, this might be so much easier anyway. There we go. Right, so it's now got a bit of a base, but it means it stands up nicely as a card. Works perfectly like so as a card. Now we can think about decorating the front. Definitely want to use this. So this is a panel die cut die. Let's see if I can find out where's it from. Hang on. It was a waffle flower one. So you can see it cuts out the full panel and then it sort of pierces with these gorgeous snowflakes. I die cut it several weeks ago when I first got the die. I'm saying weeks, it's probably months now. I think it was back in July. And then I've never got around to using it, so I really want to use it today. So I think, you know, it would be nice to have used the whole panel, but as this is a not square based card, I'm going to die cut out the circle. There we go. And then I can at least use some of what's left on an alternative project. I just need to chop that off there and it'll be a nice panel. So that gives us a nice background. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit. Oh, it's probably zoomed in too much, but you can see there. And you can see poking through are all of the little holes, all of the different kind of stitching effects. So I think that with my little Rudy on top, I think I am zoomed in too much, aren't I? There we go. I think that'll make a really nice card. And then I think we just need to perhaps add in some elements. I'm just looking. So in front of me, I have like a little plate that has loads of random bits and pieces. And these are left over from other projects. Isn't that cute? Like that with the little bit of the green. That'll be nice. Is there anything else in here that we think we might be able to use? Probably not. I've got a big gold tree, but I don't think that's in keeping at all. I don't want to add black, and there's some black bits and pieces in there. So no, I think that'll probably be it from my little tray of treasures that I try to use up, and then every so often I empty when it gets to be in overflowing, slightly in overflow mode at the moment. So probably need to think about that. In fact, I have got two of those circles. I'm wondering whether I stack it, because that will add a little bit more dimension. Just a tiny bit. If I stack it, it's 2 depths then. Yeah, we'll do that. Right, I'm going to have a little play and I'll come back to you later when I finish the card. that's me done. I just need to glue it all together, but I think I'm quite happy with that. I ended up grabbing one of these embellishments that I've had for a year and a bit, which are holographic shiny on one side, matte on the other, but I think I quite like the holographic shiny side for this particular project. I did the Stamping from Christmas to Remember set, and I used the 'Tis the Season, but I did it in white embossing onto the coral because I think then it pulls that same colour scheme going throughout. Obviously you saw me colouring and fussy cut the image and die cut the panel, and then that's my card blank. So I think this one can be stuck down directly. Now, because it's got those holes in it, I don't particularly want to put glue so it's going to splurge through those piercing holes. So I'm going to stick my glue in all of the more solid places and where I know that green ring is already there. And that'll do nicely. I think that's straight. There's always a bit more wiggle room if you use a liquid adhesive rather than a tape. I think that's nice. Now, I think this needs to go down next, and I think again I'm going to stick this flat, and I'm going to just stick it there. Now, probably I'm going to end up using, I actually don't know how big this is. Let's see what we got. We've got, yeah, probably fit in a 4-inch envelope, so we don't want to go too far over the edge, but if it does go over, it won't matter too much. We can always go with a 5-inch envelope. Now, do we want Rudy to be slightly raised? And I think we do. Now, what I don't tend to use is foam tabs, especially not on larger images like this, because they tend to then sort of bump and stuff. What instead I use is children's fun foam, and literally I just have A5 sheets of it that I just cut up and use, and then you can shape it as you need it to. So that one's clearly going to need to come across at the bottom like so, and then we'll be able to glue it on. I don't always use this much liquid adhesive on these ones, but it's the adhesive that's to hand, and I'm lazy. Now you can see there that there's a bit more there that you can take off, and again it just helps to give a little bit more security to this foam, and especially if you do end up putting these through the post, you don't want them to get squished too much. And this is also so cheap in comparison to things like foam tape, where you end up with using lots and lots of them. You get all those little bits everywhere. I just need to come off. And they actually work out quite expensive after a while, so I do like dimensionals and I do use them occasionally, but on larger images like this I tend to want to use my own portion of children's fun foam, just to give my little image, especially because it's not on the thickest of cardstocks, a little bit of support. And because you can cut it to size, you can do big pieces and little pieces. I have been known for shapes and things that where it's got a die cut to actually die cut them from the foam and then just slightly trim down the edges. Now I don't think I do think I need a few of these finer pieces just to do those pieces. So I think that one will fit on there. I love my nails, but I can't wait for them to come off because it's really not the easiest thing to use to do your crafting with when you've got, it's the acrylics are so thick as well as I'm not used to long nails. So it does seem like I'm using up lots of bits of foam here, and it's a bit fiddly, but the reality is, if I didn't have my nails in the way, it would be easy as anything. Now the important thing is to check that you've not got any showings from the other side, which I haven't. And perfect. Gives it a nice bit of dimension. Now, I do tend to use either a Pritt stick or a liquid glue when I'm adhering the foam. It just needs something a little bit more secure than tape. Tape tends to peel away a little bit more from the foam, but you don't want to put too much on. So you can see there, I've just used my high-tack glue and I've just dotted it all over the different bits of foam. And I'm gonna just check he's straightish. There we go. Oh. And then because he's on lots of different layers underneath, I'm just going to give him a bit of a squish down. I think if I stick an acrylic block over, just to give him a chance to adhere. Now I've realised, look, don't want that one there because that's sticking over the edge. And because it was a liquid glue and it was only a little dot, it's absolutely fine that I've done that, and I've taken it off and nobody is wiser. Let's just double check he stands up nicely. He does. Now, how do we want the sentiment to sit? I thought we'd want him sticking there. Yeah, I think that's fine. I do think I want him flatter though. I was umming and ahhing over whether that needed to be with a bit of extra dimension as well. But what I do want is my little sentiment to be straight. I don't mind that it's hanging off the edge there, because again, I've got that little bit of wriggle room for this to fit in a 4-inch square envelope. And you know what? If it doesn't fit, doesn't matter. And then I think we're done. Probably could do with a sentiment on the inside. I'm wondering, we might just go with let's go for magic in the air. No, let's go for Holly Jolly Christmas. So I'm using that same stamp set. I'm just going to do it nice and simple. Let's hope we can line it up nice and straight. Do we want to emboss? Right, I am going to emboss, and this time I'm going to use my embossing buddy. Just because we're going on to the final project, we don't want to mess it up. So I would normally suggest, if you're wanting to do stamping on the inside of the card, you start with that before you start adhering anything down, because then if you make a mistake, it really doesn't matter. I'm just moving these bits and pieces out of the way. There we go. Really cute. Really cute card. Not a square for a change. Beautiful image. I am wondering, see, when I have these sorts of characters, I like to do a bit of glossy accents, usually on the eyeballs, but in this case, it being Rudolph and him not having the reddest nose, because Catherine forgot to colour it red and coloured it brown first, I think I'm just going to make his nose all shiny with a coat of glossy accents. So I always go really gentle with my glossy accents, because you can end up with a big splurge and then you've ruined your entire project if that's not what you were after. Right, that needs to be set aside to dry. I usually just go and leave it where I go and photograph my projects, to dry in the, undisturbed. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that. I'm really pleased I managed to use up just some bits that were lying on the desk. So things like the green circle die. It's amazing. You do projects and then you think, oh, well, I might use it again, I might not. It's always nice when you do. And a nice little embossed sentiment on the inside. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up, and subscribe if you want to see more. Yeah, I've no idea what the next project might be or when it might be, but I am pleased with the fact that this is now at least a couple of projects I've done, having spent a whole year not doing any videos. So yeah, obviously go and check out my blog if you're interested in seeing other works. I definitely don't video everything that I make. So my blog is www.inkyfingeredcat.me. And until next time, bye bye.